What's up, summoners, it's Wildheart, and in this video I will tell you about 5 things that I think are essential for your rank journey to be successful. Once again, I want to point out that it's my opinion that is based on my coaching sessions with people below plat rank and is mainly applicable only to those ranks, as usually higher rank players don't have those play patterns. This video will be a little different from the most videos you can find regarding this topic on YouTube, as I don't want to generalize or speak about something abstract, but instead of that I want to be as transparent as possible with you, so once you have this video finished, you can approach your ranked games in a brand new way. You don't need to play every single champion in League of Legends in order to climb. It's a very obvious concept that becoming a good player on 10 champions is way harder than mastering 3 to 5 champions to a decent level. Choose a few champions you like and you are sure they are strong by checking their win rates for a certain rank and stick to them as long as they are not getting nerfed to the ground. As simple as that. Once they are nerfed, you do exactly the same steps as I mentioned before. Choose a couple of champions you'd like, check their win rates and start mastering them. Try to have champions for different goals when you're creating a champion pool for yourself. Let's say you're a top lane main who wants to go for a long climb in the ranks journey. You might prepare an AD top laner and an AP top laner to diversify damage types of your team, if no one else cares about that. This way you can pick champs like Olaf and Singed. Why them? Well, they both are pretty simple and they fit the criteria we're looking for. In case if you are the last one drafting on your team, you can analyze your team comp and the enemies. If you realize that there is no way your team is going to win a team fight regardless of what you pick, probably that's the best time to pick a split pusher. Want an AD split pusher? You can pick Fiora. Your team is full AD already? Let's play around it and pick Gwen, so we can still split push, but at least we'll have some AP damage. You should always keep in mind that we are playing for the long term. Obviously it would be a great thing to get a challenger within 20 games, but unfortunately things don't work that way. Your average performance is a main factor that creates your rank, and that is why you don't need to worry too much about a certain game, but need to worry about every single one you play. Improving your consistency is much better than improving your peak performance. Any statistician knows that the best way to improve an average is to fix your lowest points. Improving your peak performance by 2% is an incredibly difficult task, but fixing your worst performances by 20% is easier while bringing much more to your average results. Playing like a Diamond Plus for a one game doesn't matter if in your next 3 games you flip and lose like a Bronze, which will sum up your average performance to a Gold player. Alright, so our goal is to deliberately play all the games we play. Can we do that if we play 10 games in a row? Of course not. Our goal is to maximize our efficiency in every single game we play. So instead of just spamming games over and over, try to do short bursts of games like 3 to 5 game sessions and just do something else. Watch TV show, go to the gym, listen to music, go for a walk, read a book, anything works. But make sure to switch your focus from the game to something external. We are very emotional beings, and even if you think you're not getting impacted by your emotions, you're wrong most of the time. It doesn't really matter which emotions are affecting you, as regardless if it's cortisol or dopamine that hits you, it still impacts the way you approach the game. The best way is to just minimize all the emotions you receive from the game and be as calm and focused as you can be. This one is an absolute scene of low elo games that I see almost every single game I coach someone. When the lane phase comes to an end, don't start to play an ARAM on Summoner's Reef, please! In League of Legends you have 3 lanes, every single one brings minions to your part of the map so you can farm gold and XP. If you decide to go mid lane and permanently fight for something that only God knows for, you will lose huge portions of XP and gold. The best way to fix this for you is constantly asking yourself questions. Am I at the right place? Where am I supposed to be? What do I have to do now? If I leave my lane now, what will happen to a minion wave? In order to learn how to manipulate the minion wave in League of Legends, check our video about the wave management. In pro games, all the carries are always trying to push the lane before rotating to the objective, and the main reason is that when they have lane push towards enemy turrets, once the wave crashes, the next one will be bouncing back towards you, creating a massive minion wave once you return to your lane, so you can safely pick a fat bank there. Many of you heard that it's important to time enemy summoner spells to know when the Jinx on the enemy team will have no flash so you can engage. This is an extremely simple concept to learn nowadays. Pay attention to enemy champions and what spell they are using. They use flash, it's 5 minutes for you to punish them for it. Exploiting these small things can benefit you in literally any play, as understanding if enemy carry has flash, regardless if it's laning phase or 30 minutes in the game, is a game changer, as once you catch them off guard, it's one-way ticket and there is no way they can survive. It's very common situation in League of Legends to get assigned to the role you don't really main. If that's your case, try to prepare during the draft phase that way that you will not find yourself completely out of the game. Obviously, picking champions like Fiora, Riven or Queen is not going to be optimal in that case, but if you pick Malphite or Cho'Gath instead, the chance that your team will manage to carry you increases drastically. It's very common to see your allies making mistakes during the game, especially when someone is just randomly dying and this death isn't justified with anything. In order to make sure that this someone is not going to be you, you need to create a plan of what you are going to do in this game. Use the time you have during the draft phase to create a plan of how you're going to play the first 3, 6, 14 minutes of the game. The main point is that a plan does not always have to be absolutely the best one, but having a bad plan is always better than having none. The concept is to stick to an idea, and whether it works or not, we can follow the path we plan. Having no plan means that you go with the flow and you minimize your agency in the game, and even if a good outcome happens, you cannot repeat it, as you probably were not the reason for the things to happen. You probably never thought of that, but whenever you play League of Legends, you have a set of actions you're usually doing every single game. Regardless if it's the right pattern or not, you need to identify them in order to understand in which way they influence your game. For example, when it's 8 minutes in game, Herald spawns, which makes most of the players who are closer to the top side of the map focus on this objective. However, it's usually a jungler who has to do the call whether we take this Herald or not. Is that a habit? Absolutely. But what's more important is how players approach this Herald play. Did jungler clear his camps before taking this Herald, so when he returns to farming, there are actual camps to farm? Did the top laner or mid laner push the lane before rotating to help this Herald, so when they are back to the lane, the wave is bouncing back to them? See what I mean? Fixing those small things is a key, and figuring out which patterns we have is essential to understand what our weak points are, and if we fix them, our average performance will get a solid increase. The best way to do that is to watch your replays once the game is done. The main idea is to watch and point out your mistakes. Once you noted a mistake, write a solution to it. For example, you played top lane and died for a cannon minion. You got to check what was happening 2 minutes ago, a minute ago, and what led you into this situation. For now, that's all. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss new uploads. Please let me know in the comment section below which of these techniques you are already using in your League of Legends games. Also, let me know if I missed something that is worth of adding. See you soon!